Hey, gun people! Well, somebody sent me this video that Lehto did, and man, this is a good find. I'm glad he's putting this out. Go to his site over here, and you can make sure and like and subscribe to his thing. Steve Lehto, good dude. We may not agree on everything, but he puts out some good info, and I don't think I've. It might have been a couple things he said that I was kind of like, maybe I don't. I think we got into something I said one time that everybody kind of reacted to. But anyway, he really sticks it to these a police chief and prosecutor. Now let me give you some background on Hawaii. Hawaii is the most corrupt. I was stationed there from 83 to 85 when I was in the Air Force, and working with those cops, it is all about family. They don't like white people. They are extremely racist against anybody that is not Hawaiian. They think we're invaders. They have parades and protests that they don't want to be in a state and that we took over their island and they want us out. And so, I mean, it's not what I would call a friendly place in America. However, it is the most laziest, unethical, all about family and doing things. Government is crooked. Oh, did I say that they were extremely left-wing liberal policy run by liberals, always support liberals, high gun control, everything against the Constitution and freedom. But that goes to say when you get tyrannical, those two things go together. So anyway, listen to what these cops, this police chief and his wife, the prosecutor, did.
Man, I've talked before about people in positions of power who abuse legally, okay? So the former Honolulu police chief and his wife, who is the former Honolulu prosecutor, were sentenced in federal court to 84 months and 156 months, respectively, for a range of criminal conduct, including framing their relative with a crime to conceal their own fraud. Additionally, their co-conspirators, who are former Honolulu police officers, received 42 months and 54 months.
Look, this is the feds came in, and I'm not a big Fed guy. I like the feds to stay the hell out of state's business. If it was up to me, and I was running Texas, all federal agencies would be ousted, and you couldn't come in here, period. You stay the hell out of our, we don't need your money, and we don't need your shit telling us how to run our state. I believe in state rights. But when you get something like this, sometimes it's good to have the feds come in because they can come from the outside without the pressures of the state. But this needs to be the exception and not the rule. The feds are all in our business now about our schools. They run the schools. You get federal money for schools. You get federal money for highways. You get federal money for, everything. The feds have it tied to you need our money. And therefore, we get to do what we want in your state, and you can't push back, or we'll take the money. That's why you don't let somebody pay you to compromise your principles. And that's what the federal government does. They force states, if you want the money, you have to compromise your principles and sell out the people of your state. But I digress. This is one time where the feds should have came in, and they don't say who investigated it. I'm assuming the FBI did it, but we'll see.
Respectively, for their involvement in the conspiracy. So, of course, 84 months is 7 years. 7 years.
I don't think 7 years is enough. I think these guys ought to get 25 to life. I think if you're in a position of power and you intentionally abuse your authority, especially if you conspire with other people in federal government or local government or any government, and you use your power to frame somebody or commit criminal acts and you commit a conspiracy, it ought to be 25 to life. Hell, I'm okay with making that a death penalty case. Voter fraud, treason. Treason is a death penalty case. I got no problem with classifying when you're doing shit, using your government power to rip off taxpayers or to lie to the people or to send people to prison and take away their freedoms. Absolutely, it falls under treason for me. And I'm okay with public hangings and tar and feathering. But that's me. I'm kind of, people call me the crazy guy.
And 156 is 13 years in prison. Wow.
Not enough.
So 7 years and 13 years in prison for the prosecutor and the police chief who framed somebody. And this is the kind of stuff that just is unbelievable.
So if you want to go watch this video, it's a pretty good video. I watched it almost all the way through. I don't want to go through the whole thing. But he covers kind of how they got caught and the deepness of the conspiracy to frame a family member to steal money from their grandmother. When a family member accused them, they decided to discredit the family member that was accusing him, and that's how they set him up with this crime and got him. And they did all this with their power because his wife's a prosecutor and he's the police chief. Corruption, power corrupts. Absolutely. It's just the way it is. That's why it just kills me when I hear liberals talking about, we like freedoms and we lose support the Constitution. Liberals want more government, more taxes to support more government power, more regulations, more rules. More power is what the liberals want. Conservatives want it too, but not on the scale of liberals. At least conservatives, part of their platform is limited government, less regulation. And then the liberals run around, well, we got to save the endangered mosquito's baby who, has one gene to whatever. I mean, it's just whatever. Good video. Good for you, Steve, for bringing this shit out. I hate corrupt government. This is a government issue. Somebody's going to make this about, well, it's just Hawaii. Well, it's just the police chief. Well, it's just the prosecutor. It's just an isolated incident. This is standard operating procedure for all government, which is why our founders gave us the Constitution to hold government in check, to restrict their power, to make it hard for government to do anything, to give us the right to challenge government, free speech, free press, a press free from government oppression, from government pushing their agenda, which we don't have. Our press now works for the left-wing government. They are government pawns. So, look, this is a symptom, and the cure is what nobody wants to talk about, because we ain't voting our way out of this tyranny. No more than we could have voted our way out of tyranny back before this country. We'd be trying to tell the king, hey, you can't do that. Hey, you can't tax us. Hey, you can't take our money. Hey, you can't come in our house, rape our women, and quarter your troops. You can't take what we earn. You know what? You don't vote your way out of that shit. When it gets this bad, time for R2 in my book. But all right, we'll end that there.